Come on. There it is.
Nice.
My 85 C10 here has been doing a great job at being a daily driver. Been reliable, starts every time, eventually. You heard the starter clicking. We're gonna put a new one in. And that's part of the reason we have it in the shop today. There's just a few things that are kind of creeping in. And it's just stuff that's gonna happen when you drive a 40-year-old truck every day. We got oil leaks. I wanna pull off the valve covers, see how the valve train's doing. Now that's been about 4 or 5 months with the new cam setup. Couple oil leaks I wanna kind of check out. I got a new carb setup I wanna show you guys. I took off that Edelbrock, put on a Holly. We just got a lot going on. Let's check it out. Let's check out this new carb setup. So like I said, I had that Edelbrock 1406 unit on there, this guy here. Here's the Holly 600 CFM unit. Electric choke, vacuum secondary, single inlet carb. Pretty basic. Maybe a little bit bigger I'd prefer, 650 or 700 CFM, but this was free. That came off of the CJ304. It's just kind of been sitting on the shelf, so I'd figure I'd use it. The Edelbrock choke always acted kind of weird, and I was able to tune it pretty well, and it ran all right, but I did have to play around with some of the different setup for the lines. Some of the vacuum ports, like the Holly has one less vacuum port than the Edelbrock, so I had to throw a T in here somewhere for something. Yeah, so before I had the transmission vacuum line going into this manifold port, but I put the brake booster there, and then I teed the transmission into full manifold vacuum that I was using for the heater controls. And then we have ported vacuum going to the distributor, then the crankcase ventilation just going back here. That was pretty simple. I just had to swap sides on the valve cover, because on the Edelbrock it's right here front and center, and on the Holly it's tucked in back here on the passenger side, so just had to switch those around quick. One cool thing, I was able to ditch this throttle return spring bracket and actually use my throttle cable bracket, so the spring setup is a lot better, lighter. The choke works great on the Holly. Glad I brought my screwdriver. We got some kind of fuel leak going on. Choke's not coming off. And it was just a breeze getting this Holly tuned up and running right. Float height adjustments right here, front and back. Very easy to adjust that. And then the idle screw is back here, easy to adjust. Idle mixture screws on either side. Also very easy to get to. And then even the accelerator pump right here at the front. It's been running great. Now, while we're right here in the area, we can check out some of these leaks. You can see there's oil puddling up here on the intake manifold. Right where the bolts are that are holding on the intake manifold, there's oil pooling up there, which is likely because when I put the intake manifold on, I didn't seal the threads properly, and now they're leaking oil. Oil's coming up the threads and just kind of pooling up right there. It's not a huge oil leak, but it's easily fixable just by taking those bolts out, wrapping them, putting them right back in, and torquing them. The only other leak we got is this power steering fluid leak. It's not coming from the pump anymore. I think it's leaking at the steering box itself. Not gonna worry about it. Just gonna keep throwing fluid in as I need it. We might do that eventually. To give us a little more room to work on our intake manifold bolts, we'll pull the valve covers off, and that way we can also check on our rockers while we're in there. I am happy to report that these ARP valve cover studs and stupid expensive valve cover gaskets that we put on a few months ago definitely did solve my oil leak problem. Not leaking any oil from the valve covers anymore. I guess it was worth the money. Right on. Let's check out these rockers. The other side was good. Everything was in order. Oil looks nice. Now that the valve covers are off, I can give you a better look at all the oil that pools up. The idea here is, so we don't have to mess with the torque sequence, is pull one of them out, tape it, put it right back in and torque it. The first two are fine, everything is dry, so I'm not gonna mess with that if it's not leaking. The middle two, definitely gonna do. And then the back, the second from the last one on the back on each side. So we're gonna do a total of 6 of these. Same thing on the passenger side, the front two are pretty dry. And there's pulls in the middle two, and then second one from the back, good bit of oil. All right, we'll pull out one manifold bolt at a time. I got the passenger side done already. Since there's vacuum lines and wire harness in the way, it's kind of hard to see. Plus the one bolt you can only get on with a wrench. You can't even get a socket on there. So I took care of those already. I also took care of the very back one here just because it's kind of hard for you to see. Let's get this bolt out. There it is. And these are all ARP hex bolts. And we'll get this little pool of oil cleaned up. I looked back on the old video when I assembled the motor, and I put the ARP thread lubricant on here, which I don't think is really a sealant. Evidently not anyway. You can see a lot of that old schmutz caked up in the threads there. So we'll make sure we get that cleaned up. Got that bolt pretty well cleaned up. Now we'll take some Permatex thread sealant, marshmallow fluff looking stuff. Get these threads coated. Try not to put too much on there, just enough. Something like that. I'll start this back in. Here we go. Just get it started a little bit. And we'll run her down snug, like there. Torque her back down, 30 foot-pounds. Same thing, do this other one quick. Hopefully this will solve our little oil leak, but it'll take a while to find out. It's not like it pulls up right away. I would sometimes clean it up and maybe take a week for it to pull back up. So that'll be an update for later. I did verify the torque on the ones I didn't mess with, and they were still good, 30 foot-pounds. We can throw these valve covers back on. Cleaned off that reusable gasket in the back of the valve cover. Get some hardware going, and that's 5 foot-pounds on these. Done. Everything is wrapped up underneath the hood. I got the truck jacked up so we can get at this starter. Oh, come on. There she is up in there. I did want to show you quick with the truck in the air. You can really see this power steering leak that I'm not going to fix. You can see how wet it is at the back here. And it kind of just trickles down from there, and then it'll come down on the pitman arm and just make a big puddle on the ground. Yeah, figured I'd show you that quick, even though we're not doing anything with it. Go over here and grab that new starter. Over to the engine room. Here's the block for the CJ 304 AMC. Plus all the parts. I just got back from the machine shop. Cabinet is where I keep all the brand new parts that haven't been installed yet. I probably had the starter for a month now. I just didn't get around to it. But here we are. It's a remanufactured unit from AC Delco. I think I paid about $50 for this. It's a fine looking unit. This I didn't know. Came with some shims, and says to throw an 1/8 inch drill bit between a flywheel tooth and the shaft here on the starter. And if it's a snug fit, you don't need any shims, or just reuse the ones that are in there. I kind of forget. But I did verify that it is a nice snug fit, so we don't have to mess with that too much. Let's throw this guy in there. I was seeing if I could disconnect the wires first, but these headers kind of make that difficult. So I would take off the mounting bolts first, then see if we can drop it down, get some slack. And I did disconnect the battery. Gonna be important to put all the starter weight on the wires. Now I did wire this up myself, so I hope I gave myself enough slack. Oh yeah, that'll work, buddy. I need a jack stand or something though. Let her dangle for a minute. You'll be all right. You just hang on in there. Got the starter supported with that jack stand, and sure enough, just enough access. There's the main wire there, the bigger one, and then a little signal wire there for the solenoid. I will be able to get those off pretty easily. All right, got them both off. Out she comes. Oh, that's heavy. All right, got the new one in now. Snug these down. One more. Good. Now the main one. Starter's wired up, in position. Got the mounting bolts started. Finish this up. Good. Good. Got her done. Let's hook up this battery. Right quick. See how we did. Here we go. Wow. They're a little high. I don't know what's up with that. Let's drop her in gear. Why is it idling so high? Not sure what's going on. It's gotta be something simple. Well, it wasn't what I thought it was. Just a little vacuum leak. Let's try that again. Well, now I messed with that idle screw, so I might have to play with it. Still kind of high. Not sure. Still kind of idling high, and the choke light is still on, which is a little unusual. Let's just take her for a rip. Bring the screwdriver just in case. Choke light's still on. What's really weird is I didn't even mess with the carb. I just showed it to you. Give her the beans here. See if it falls on its face. A little bit. Really strange. Come to a hard stop. See if it dies. Something's up. This thing ain't running right. It's missing all kinds, and I just died at that intersection back there. Oh, I don't think the truck's running. Nope. Come on. Oh yeah. Dive in here quick. Come on. Full throttle. Oh, what did I do? All right. Oh, brakes. There they are. Well, sir, glad I brought my screwdriver. Oh, man. This is horse shit. We got some kind of fuel leak going on. Choke's not coming off. Right when I was hyping this carb up, man, I'll tell you what. I didn't even bring my phone. I just hopped in the truck and left. And we zip tie this choke open. See what our kit's looking like. Huh, not much of a kit. Got a spring. Can I rig something up with that? I'm gonna start it. Try to anyway. I gotta bomb this thing home. Give her a little throttle. All right, I'm gonna try and run it like that. Oh man, it's so bad. So this is gonna suck pulling out right here. So I'm gonna pop it in neutral and do one of these numbers. And it appears to be clear, so here we go. Runs pretty good at wide open though. So we'll just do that. Look at this guy. That's crazy. Doing this again. Here we go. Oh my God, it's so bad. Made it. Oh man, it is just leaking fuel over the side here. I wonder if it's like not pulling in air somewhere, like maybe the gasket for the carb or something. This is an interesting turn of events, but I did find something. It'd be kind of weird if this was our issue though, but the choke gets its power from the oil pressure sensor, which I found unplugged, just dangling. So I must have bumped that off by mistake. So I'm gonna just plug that back in. We got power going to the choke. So that's good. But what's also weird is the warmth of the engine should be enough to keep that choke open. No, that ain't it, man. And it's leaking fuel, which is also an issue. It's not just dumping out over the top because this would be wet. I wonder if it's not this gasket because you can see, well, I don't know if you can see, but it's bubbling like air bubbles right here at the carb. I wish I would have been filming that. I wanted to check the float height, so I pulled the front, that one was good, and I pulled the back, and fuel just like shot out of there. So the float is way too high in the back here. There's fuel everywhere, and the motor's kind of warm, so we got a fire hazard. I don't really have time to mess with this anymore. That's gonna have to be a project for another day. Maybe we'll just retune this whole carb, start fresh, maybe get a new gasket too. Anyway, that's gonna wrap it up for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Take it easy. See you in the next one.